So in this one, we actually have a guest, and I'm really excited to show you guys. I think that this duo, deserve to be on Gogglebox. So any Gogglebox producers watching out there, just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. This is beautiful footage. I love this.
But we have to be nice to Sadie because she's here.
Yeah.
Dave. Not that we were horrible to Dave.
No, I can't be horrible to Dave. Dave and I were like Laurel and Hardy, Stan and Charlie, you know. Like there came a point where it was just Dave and I just running around as like Batman and Robin, going and running the workshops, or like approaching researchers together being like, come on, don't you want to perform?
Have you ever got any like really negative like no's, or any like aggressive, why are you coming at me with this?
No, I don't think we ever did. I think we never pressurized anyone. We never put pressure on anyone. So actually, it was just, this is what we're doing. If you're up for it, let us know. And then if it was a very light no, like, oh, no, thanks, we would say, well, can we at least show you like the YouTube videos and stuff so you get a feel for what it's like?
Yeah.
And usually that would, from a few of them, that would like sort of twist their arm. You get people. I remember there was one researcher who was really, really, really worried. And then at the end of the night, she was like, oh my God, that was amazing. When can I do the next one?
Yeah. Like
it completely flipped around because of her experience of how amazing it was. Yeah, and it just gives you confidence as well. At least in the research community, you know, people might be afraid to talk about their work, and when they go to conferences as well, I swear by adding a bit of humour to a conference presentation, because you could go to a conference for a week long and it's just people talking, and actually the key is to show them the juicy stuff and just keep them interested. And actually that's what I used to do, just colourful pictures and jokes, and that was it. And then people come and speak to you afterwards anyway. If they're really into your work, they've probably read your paper already. So yeah. Where's Mum?
She's gone away. She just needs to run back downstairs for something, I'm not sure. Yeah, I gave my this set actually to some teachers. So Pearl, my boss, was doing a teachers conference. She wanted me to do the set for them, and because I talk about specifically about my thesis, loads of them afterwards would come into me and be like, oh, where can I download your thesis? And I was yes, impact, like my research has had impact.
Yeah.
So some, obviously they're not reading the actual thesis, they're reading these quotes from my mother, which I talk about. But
the more profound stuff.
As far as people clicking on it and reading it, good. She is apparently coming.
Let's see if I've got it loaded.
My mom.
Hello.
Jess and Tina and Nikhil.
Hello. Hi.
So they're gonna put my YouTube of my comedy set on. And if you find anything that you want to speak about, just say stop and you can talk about it. We'll talk at the end as well.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Are we all ready?
Let's go.
Let's do this.
Oh, Masood Miles, he was a cool host.
Yeah, Paris, the end, wasn't it? Really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about my astrophysics PhD, which I completed like 5 years ago, but it's still having quite an effect on me. So hopefully it'll be funny. So my research was into a single supermassive black hole that is 13 million light years away, and I spent like 10 years, I guess, still doing it now, trying to figure out why the hell it is so bloody messed up. And in doing so, I've made myself a little bit messed up as well. So yeah, I found myself during my PhD in a really quite dark place, which is convenient given I'm an astronomer. But yeah, so even now 5 years on, I still struggle to be kind of proud of being a doctor. So when people bring me up and ask me for my title, I still say Miss. I just feel like someone's going to kind of, come into my office, take it off me and say that it was just a load of bullshit. One way, because I'm on planes quite a lot, I love to travel, and there's never going to be a situation where someone calls me over and I'm like, yeah, this person looks like they're in terrible shape, they really do need some help, but I don't know if telling them about supermassive black holes is going to yeah, so I'm Welsh. Yeah, and the other day, I just met this guy, and I managed to convince him that I'd actually shagged the sheep. And I'm really, really proud of this. I'm a terrible liar, like I'm bright red. Yeah, I just can't lie, and I'll just admit the truth straight away. I even said, like, it was just perfectly normal, it's something all Welsh people do. He still believe me, and I'm really, really proud. It's just weird that I'm proud of that, but not my PhD. So yeah, like I said, my PhD was really hard for me. And in the second year specifically, there was nobody else in the department doing radio astronomy, which is what my PhD was on. So I really didn't have any friends. But the thing that saved me is my one true love, cream eggs. So I would have a cream egg next to my PC, next to my keyboard, and when I achieved something great in the day, like analysed some data and it worked, I was allowed to eat my cream egg. But it's quite a long day. So for lunchtime, for example, I would take my cream egg out with me. I went to campus, take photos of it with the ducks, next to the stream and some like woody trees in the background. And this is back in 2010, so it was way before Instagram was a thing, so I was so ahead of the curve on like taking photos of my food. And then when it came to eating the cream egg, it didn't end there. I'd eat it, and then I'd take the wrapper and then I'd stick it to the side of my CPU unit. So I had like a nice shrine. And this is all real. This is all real. And if you don't believe me, you can go on Facebook. I have a whole album from 2010 where you can see all these lovely photos of cream eggs in my apartment. The other thing that saved me is the physics building itself. So because it's an astronomy and physics building, it has telescopes on the roof. So when I was feeling quite low, late at night, and really kind of not having a clue why the hell I was doing this investigation into a black hole that was being really weird, I'd go up onto the roof, I'd go into the observatory, I'd move the telescope, I'd sit down, and then I'd cry. Cry alone. But I would bring my mother, because she is the most amazing, supportive, inspirational Welsh person. Very, very crazy. But yeah, she said some great things to me on the roof, and they were so great that they ended up as the quotes in my PhD thesis. So everyone, or all my friends at least, have used the same template where you have the chapter headings, you have a quote from a famous scientist. So most people would quote Einstein, but saw Einstein, I quoted my mother 4 times. One of my favourite quotes from her was during my 3rd year when the shit was really starting to hit the fan. And so I was analysing my supermassive black hole in both radio and X-ray, okay? The only thing you need to really realise is that when I did that, I got a positive relationship, okay? And then a few months later, someone basically had looked at the galaxy, done the exact same thing, and got a negative correlation. So I was like, oh shit. I have imposter syndrome, so obviously I was wrong. I started freaking out, obviously had a bit of a cry on the roof. And then I went to my supervisor, and he was like, no way, Sadie, we are the ones that are right. We're going to write a diss paper, we're going to take these guys down. So I was still really stressed because I'm really too nice, I think, and I didn't want this other PhD student to be, thinking she was wrong. I prefer myself to be wrong. So I went up to the room, of course, to talk to my mum. And I said, Mum, I think my paper has started a war. She said, Sadie, you just let them to get on with their warmongering. Who knows what them bloody black holes are doing? And then she said, on a more serious note, don't forget to watch Corrie tonight, because people are going to get killed by a tram. So I could always rely on her to bring me down back to earth, away from what was happening. So yeah, so that quote ended up in my thesis. It wasn't just phone calls from my mother, it was also text messages. So on her daily commute from my house in the South Wales Valleys, she would be going to Cardiff, and she'd text me every morning some inspirational words. But she also created a whole universe, right? So in this universe, I am an astro warrior, and I wield something called the astrobiological sword. And then I would use this sword to kind of defend myself or vanquish my PhD or the galaxy or the black hole, depending on her mood or my mood. And she even gave me a really cool name, and I was she of the astrobiological sword. I don't know why astrobiology, I don't think anything about it. But it's fine. But obviously in text messages, that's quite a long title. So she shortened it to SOTABS, so she simply called me SOTABS. And then obviously she would sign off with MoSOTABS, mother. This is really so yes, I finally finished my thesis. It took 4 years. I was only funded for 3, so that was interesting. I gave it to my supervisor, and first thing he said to me was, Sadie, are you really going to leave those quotes in from your mother? And I was really pleased, because at least you had 4 pages of it. So I got to my viva, and you kind of sat down with an internal and external examiner, and I managed to get through the viva. And my internal examiner stands up, shakes my hand, says, well done, Sadie, you're a doctor. First thing he says to me is the astrobiological sword really a thing? And I said yes, because my mother did actually go to kind of the local shop. She found a kid's lightsaber that was purple, because it's my favourite colour. It had a skull on it that looked kind of sinister, so she kind of fashioned it with some ribbons, stuck some stars on it, and she basically gave it to me, I think, only about my 2nd year, and she told me to swish it, like in reality, whenever I was feeling a bit, down in the dumps. And I would have brought it tonight, because I do still have it in my house, but it is run out of battery, because it turns out real life is actually really hard as well. So, yeah. So that was my internal examiner. And then my external examiner, who was from Wales, so obviously I knew him before. I did really know. He stood up, shook my hand, and was like, I'd really like to meet your mother. She sounds like a really interesting woman. So I was like, oh, once again, what's my mother? So I got, that was my viva, and that was in November, so I had to wait a whole, 8 months till July when I could graduate. And my mother was really kind of annoyed at this, because she wanted to put the picture on the wall of the graduation and be super proud. But she had to wait too long. But she didn't let us stop her. She's a very determined astro warrior. She set off to our little town in the South Wales Valleys. She managed to find some shop that could take a picture of a dragon with a lady on, wielding a sword, and then and I've got it right here, Photoshop my head onto it.
That's what Billy thinks of it. Really
I want to throw it to the Astro Warriors.
So
Comments.
I was pointing then because there is several copies of this photo. So there's one in Southampton, and then there's one on my wall here in my childhood bedroom as well. But the sword is still in Southampton, so I still have it, but it's on my windowsill in Southampton. Oh man, I've got to come back. We need a reaction.
So what show is that? I think that was show 8. Where was that held? I think it said Cafe Victor Hugo. Was it that?
It was held in a French bakery. Standard comedy.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. One of those.
stage or anything, was it? Like I was at the same level, like people sitting and stuff.
Yeah, it was almost like a, what do you call it, like a cabaret style or something like that. It was we went through a few venues in Southampton, but that
closing down after we did a break.
yeah, it was like we had like the opposite of a Midas touch. It was we went to a venue and then it closed down. But the Victor Hugo was our like longest relationship. They really loved us. We loved them. They didn't charge us for using it, because actually we used to run it on a Thursday night, and a Thursday night in Southampton is dead everywhere else. So we had a captive audience, and it was a really great place. And so yeah, it was this cool, quirky Victor Hugo, you know, ode to Victor Hugo, old French style place. There was a second floor, like a mezzanine floor, so people could sit at the top, overlook the balcony, and then there was a lower floor, and then the performer would stand on the same level, and people would just be sitting at tables having, like, I don't know, some pain au chocolat or whatever. It was in the evening, but yeah, they opened everything. Yeah, so that was where that was, and we were there for quite some time. And then at some point, I think they had some problems with the landlord, like charging too much money. But that was a great place, and that was a cool show as well. We had Masood Milas, who was that guy with the afro that you saw. He was our host, and I forget her first name.
Rachel Paris, was it?
Yeah, that's it, Rachel Paris.
Oh, the woman from the MASH report.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
She's married to Marcus Bridgestock as well. So.
Oh wow.
You launched your career, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it was all us.
Take that credit, guys. Take
it. She also used to do that period drama comedy.
Sorry.
That was at Nuffield.
What's that?
I think comedy is one of the hardest things to do, because to actually stand up and try and make people laugh and not be sure until you've got to actually do it once to know whether you can do it or not. And that must be awful, because when we see it on like Britain's Got Talent and some of the shows on
some
TV,
people like yourself are just naturally hilarious.
I would never have thought that Sadie would be able to stand up. Thinking of how she was when she was growing up, I could never have imagined her standing on stage and doing comedy. So, and do you all do the comedy?
Yeah. This is like a revisited. So yeah,
right.
These people are organisers.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? No matter how.
But then Sadie went and ran with it. She went and did other shows, and
oh wow,
you were doing Talent Factory at some point, weren't you?
Yeah, that was really cool. Oh, but I mean, I've only done one gig where it wasn't like a science, like obviously that gig was the first one I did with loads of my friends in the audience. That was lovely. And then all the other ones I did, like in London, it was always kind of, like Steve Cross's crew with like lots of sciencey people who were really expecting comedy. So they were really, and the venue in London was also really nice because it was like really low ceilings and it's a bit like a cave. So the laughter like echoed, I guess. The one time I did Easter open mic night, that was horrifying because obviously they're not really open to. Well, it was open, like it was good and like people laughed, but it was definitely a different vibe.
Yeah.
And I have since actually, so maybe.
I really related to your set. Just the moments where you were like, I went up to the telescopes and cried. I was like, that's such a mood. And
go on the roof now, like they're onto it, because I think a lot of people will go up to the roof just to have like a little quiet moment, not necessarily cry, but there's people going up there now.
Oh, I went up there. It's really fun.
All that. But yeah, I used to ring you on the roof all the time.
You did, yes. You did often. May I ask, what are your professions? You're not physicists, are you? You're different.
They're all research at the university.
I'm still a student. So engineering.
You're an engineer, and what are you?
She's pointing at you, Jess. You can't
Sorry.
see.
I did do engineering, but now I work full time in engagement and outreach, so a bit like Sadie.
All right. Yeah.
But I brought my in Sadie's honour, I'm using my ESA mug.
Agency.
And what does the young gentleman do?
And Nikhil?
What do? I do everything. I don't say no to anything. No, I'm a researcher in underwater sound. But I ran Bright Club with Jess, and so we trained up all these people to do the stand-up comedy. We ran the shows, and now I work at the Oceanography Centre.
Oh wow! Well, is that the one in Southampton?
It is, yeah.
Very famous one, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the what were we watching? We saw the towing tank was on TV the other day. I can't remember what it was. Why?
The towing tank, but that would have been the one in Boulderwood, no?
Oh yeah, I think it's in Boulderwood.
Yeah, I read. I don't know why.
The guy from Southampton. Oh, it was about the waves, wasn't it? The glacier and the power of the waves.
Oh, I can't remember. But I was just impressed that I recognised the towing. I've only been in there once, but I was like, that's the towing tank.
Yeah, they were. It was to do with the hurricanes and.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah,
it was
and
like
the power of the waves when you got a force 5 hurricane. Does that make sense?
So like tidal energy.
It was on about the Bermuda Triangle. That was it.
That's right.
Amazing.
It was like 2 hours long, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, anything. Yeah, marine is really interesting, just like space, isn't it? And engineering is amazing as well. Yeah.
Southampton's always on TV. I think David Attenborough came a few years ago. I think it was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
To do some scanning of a dinosaur fossil.
Yes, we've seen the marine Southampton University Marine Biology Department and oceanography lots of times on TV for different.
Oh yeah, Simon Boxall will talk to anyone.
Simon Boxall, yeah, he's very chummy with the BBC.
Wonderful. I was going to ask, so with Bright Club, how do you formulate your material? That's probably a really hard question. You said it was you get a notebook and you write it down and you say what you want to say, but how does it come across as a stand-up comedy set and not just storytelling? Because I could probably try and do it and be like, oh, this happened to me. Oh wait, what's my punchline? Stuff like so.
Yeah, okay.
You guys do it really well, and obviously it's probably come across in the training. But
yeah, it was just I had the story already in mind, obviously, and I had the notes that night when I was high on sugar. And then in the workshop, they really helped me make sure that I put the punchline at the end and like working up to it. So I guess, yeah, again, I mean, comedy, you can do comedy. I guess lots of people do it differently because I would say I didn't really have any jokes. I was just playing off the fact that my mother was quite hilarious.
Without even trying.
Without even trying.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I think Dave also used to give us out a book as well. I can't remember who wrote the book, but yeah, that was.
Yeah, How to Be Funny, I think it was called.
Yeah, or How to Do Stand-Up Comedy or something.
Yeah.
No, it's like we had 2 copies that used to circulate. Or to buy anymore.
Yeah, and then at some point we were like, okay, let's make the investments, and then we bought more. But then it was at a point where no one wanted them anyway. So we're like, now we got all these books. What do we do?
I actually still have the one he gave me, actually. I think he just kind of like, oh, you may as well keep it.
Yeah.
Club's finished.
So the Bright Club itself is not going anymore, is it?
Not in Southampton.
So yeah, what is the plan? Where do you see Bright Club in the future?
I mean,
Would you like to see it come back? That's the question.
Yeah, it would be nice, but we need to find other people who are like us, but not us.
A squad, a team.
Yeah, you know.
The Young Avengers. You guys are the Avengers.
It's the Junior Avengers. Yeah. If we could get some people who are in public engagement who maybe are just getting into it and they want to think of a cool project to take on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jess and I could be like, I don't know, silent partners in it. So actually, you have these. Yeah, the elders. So like, if you have someone who's looking to start a project, we could advertise Bright Club as something and say, look, we'll help you start it up because we've been doing this, and then they can turn it into their own thing. The only problem I have with that is I take great pride in what we did. So actually, I feel cool walking around saying, oh, this is our club, and so I'm finding it really hard to like relinquish that.
You gotta go, Nikhil. When I handed it over to you, I was like, this is my baby. It had literally been my life for about 2.5 years getting off the ground from an initial conversation.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, definitely. You could have like a little team or a squad and then just be like the leaders of the squad and then just tell them what to do, like minions.
I mean, I guess that's what Steve Cross has done, right? He thought of it all himself, and then everyone made it their own thing, and he just goes around telling you this is how you start it off, and then goes, now go do it. Yeah. But I guess the benefit for him is he has loads of other cool projects going on that take up most of his time.
I think the was funded, wasn't it, by the Wellcome Trust?
Because he was a curator.
People and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe in the future, it's obviously even harder now with COVID. But who knows? Maybe autumn we'll revisit stuff. So let's see what it's like in the world and see how feasible it might be to get things up and running again. Because we have the structure now, so it's just a case of getting enough people in a committee to do all the jobs again. And we made great relationships with people, like whether it's the restaurants or even like things like the printing team at the uni to make flyers. You know, they love us a lot, so they're very keen on like, we'll print out flyers for you and stuff.
I saw some calls, I don't think from Steve Cross, to do like online kind of sets, like now during COVID, but I don't know if I could do it because I feel like I kind of I live off the audiences. Been finding it quite hard, like in this situation, even though people are there, it's especially if they don't put their cameras on, it's so hard, like you just feel like walking to a wall kind of thing.
Well, that's that was like one of the workshops we ran, which was like improvisation and stage presence and reading your audience, which is like that informs how you bring your stuff across. If you're starting a story and you're seeing the audience aren't like taking to it, then that's where you have to quickly be adaptive and say, okay, let me brush past this and move on to the next joke or whatever.
If you're in a room on your own, you might not might not be as likely to laugh as if obviously you're other people. And so I guess it's cool that they're still doing it. But I feel like it's another level of scary.
100%.
But you're an Astro warrior, Sadie. You can do anything.
You can do anything.
Exactly.
But she still calls me that as well, and I still refer to her as Moso Tabs.
It's carried on.